Shocking. Alabama is in the 21st century when it comes to voting. They are restoring the voting rights for thousands of residents who have been convicted of felonies. Governor Ivey signed a bill which passed with bipartisan support in the Alabama legislature that reverses a century-old provision that said no person convicted of so-called crimes of moral turpitude should be permitted to vote. When that provision was originally written, moral turpitude was understood to be crimes committed by black people. Currently, more than 250,000 people in Alabama, most of them black, are not allowed to vote because of this stupid, dumbass felony conviction. Before the new law, Alabama classified all but 5 felonies as crimes of moral turpitude. Now, fewer than 50 specific felonies will fall under that definition and disqualify a convicted felon from voting. In a statement in response to the new voting and enfranchisement law, the NAACP Legal Defense and Educational Fund said, quote, "We commend Governor Ivey and the Alabama legislature for recognizing that Alabama law left the voting rights of too many citizens, especially black citizens, hanging in the balance because of a legal ambiguity. With the stroke of a pen, Governor Ivey has taken a significant step towards making Alabama's democracy more vital." Folks, here's the thing. This is
Alabama, though?
I told you, like, oh my God. This is because when Governor Terry McAuliffe in Virginia restored the voting rights, he cited the original reason for why they denied voting rights to formerly incarcerated. It was because a state legislature actually said, this is to keep the darkies from voting.
Right.
To keep niggas from voting.
Right.
He said that. And McAuliffe said, wait a minute, here we are, all these years, we've been defending a law based upon racism.
Right.
This same law here. I don't think, and so what amazes me when people say, oh, slavery is so long ago, I'm like, no.
Right.
We are still being impacted by Jim Crow slave laws today.
Yes, and what's important for people to know is that this is a great step. I think it's really wonderful that Alabama is doing this. They need to do more. You know, they should have automatic restoration. There are the 50 that I looked at, they're still on the list. A lot of those should not be on that list. There's a lot of work to be done. We have 35 states in this country that have these kind of restrictions on ex-felon voting. I really believe this is the fight of the decade. We got to change this around. And in Florida, we must pass that initiative that will allow us to restore voting rights to people automatically. It's 1.3 million folks who are banned will be able to vote.
No, I fully agree. I think it should be automatic. No one should be denied their right to vote, especially if they still have to be held to the same standards, laws, and regulations that any other citizen has to. I think what's interesting, though, is the fact that there was an article released a few years ago talking about missing black men in communities.
Yes.
And they're also missing from the ballot because they're not able to vote, or there's this misconception that because they have a felony or because they have a record, they can't vote. So we have to do better education in those communities. And we also need to make sure that if you are allowed to vote, or even as you release from prison, that your rights should be restored and you should have access to social resources as well as your ability to actually cast a vote.
In my line of work, forgiveness is a big thing.
Right.
When you ask for forgiveness, and when
Not
you
these
do,
fake evangelicals.
I ain't talking about that. I'm not talking about that. My grandmama said, don't do something in the day, it's going to keep you from being able to sleep at night. So when you look at it from a perspective of what's right, when you have done your restitution, when you have done what you needed to do for forgiveness, it's not for any of us to judge. So if you've done what man's system says that you've done, then you should be forgiven according to man's system and then have the rights of that system.
A peaceful protest turned deadly. 37-year-old black man was shot and killed by Baton Rouge police. His hands are in the air, and you still get shot by the cops.
Oh my God, please don't tell me he's dead.
We're not gonna let hate define us.
Race is a big part of this.
If truly all lives matter, then all lives need to matter equally. What we require is action. What we require is accountability. We understand that black lives do matter, and we will keep focused on this issue.
NewsOne Now, every weekday morning at 7 on TV1.